Rome. The Eternal City, a place where history meets glamour, where secrets can't stay hidden for long, and where one woman's arrival has sent shockwaves across the entertainment world. On a crisp Italian morning, Demet Özdemir was spotted stepping out of Fiumicino Airport. The cameras were waiting, the fans were whispering, and the paparazzi were ready to capture every single move. But this wasn't just any trip. This was the moment that would reopen old wounds, bring back memories of a love story that once captivated millions, and force Kenyammen into making a decision that would change everything forever. Demet's arrival in Rome wasn't announced, wasn't planned for the public eye. Yet somehow, word spread like wildfire. Social media lit up instantly. Demet is in Italy. Fans who had followed every twist and turn of her story with Kenyammen flooded the internet with theories. Was she there for a project? A secret event? Or was it something much more personal? As she walked through the terminal, dressed elegantly but simply, her eyes hidden behind dark glasses, people could feel that this wasn't just another celebrity sighting. There was a tension in the air, the kind of silence before a storm. Behind those glasses, many wondered, was Demet carrying pain, longing, or perhaps even regret? And then, the spotlight shifted. Because the moment Demet set foot in Rome, all eyes turned to one man, Kenyammen. For years, he has made Italy his second home. He's built his career here, starred in hit series, and captured the hearts of Italian fans. But beyond the professional success, everyone knew that Italy also carried his most intimate memories. Memories that had Demet's name written all over them. This is where the shock begins. According to sources close to Cannes, the news of Demet's arrival hit him like a thunderbolt. He wasn't prepared, he wasn't expecting her, and most of all, he wasn't ready to face the past. Friends say he was torn between emotions, anger, nostalgia, love, and confusion. Should he reach out? Should he ignore her? Or should he take a step so bold, so final, that it would leave no doubt about where he stood? The decision he made that very day would not only affect his own heart but also send ripples through the lives of everyone connected to him. For Kenyammen, this wasn't just about a woman stepping off a plane. It was about destiny, unfinished business, and the kind of love story that refuses to fade quietly. And while Demet's presence in Rome was already a media storm, what Ken chose to do next would turn this into a full-blown earthquake. Because sometimes, it's not about the words spoken in public, it's about the choices made in silence, the actions that speak louder than any confession, and the truth that can't be hidden no matter how much you try. Rome was buzzing. The tabloids couldn't get enough of it. Demet Özdemir spotted in Rome. The photos spread everywhere. Demet walking out of the airport, Demet entering her hotel, Demet with her phone in hand as if she were waiting for a call that might never come. Every click of the camera became another piece of speculation, another headline that linked her name inevitably back to Kenyammen. For Italians, Kenyammen isn't just an actor. He's a phenomenon. A man who has graced magazine covers, filled theaters, and left fans screaming his name in the streets of Milan and Rome. And yet, for all his public triumphs, there has always been a shadow following him. That shadow carried Demet's face. Together, they had become the golden couple of Turkish drama, a love story that transcended screens and captured imaginations worldwide. But love that shines that brightly also leaves the deepest scars when it fades. Behind closed doors, whispers say that Ken was stunned when he heard the news. He was filming, surrounded by crew and lights, when a message lit up his phone: Demet is in Rome. At first, he dismissed it. Rumors often circled, and not every sighting was real. But when the photos hit the news cycle, there was no denying it. She was here, in his city, walking the same streets, breathing the same air. Friends close to Ken reveal that he withdrew into himself. He avoided questions, dodged reporters, and brushed off comments from colleagues. But his silence was louder than words. Those who know him well say they could see it in his eyes, that flicker of something he thought he had buried long ago. Meanwhile, Demet wasn't making things easier. She was seen smiling, greeting Italian fans, and posting carefully selected images to her social media accounts. Not once did she mention Cannes, but she didn't need to. Every image, every story, every appearance was enough to reignite the old flames in the hearts of fans who still believed that theirs was the love story of a generation. And yet, the real drama was happening far from the cameras. Because Ken was at a crossroads. Should he reach out to her, knowing that one phone call could reopen a chapter they both had tried to close? Or should he finally take a step that would prove to the world, and to himself, that he had moved on for good? The irony was brutal. Just as Demet set foot in Italy, Ken had been on the verge of announcing a decision that would shock both his fans and the industry. A decision that had nothing to do with acting, nothing to do with fame, but everything to do with his personal life. The timing couldn't have been more explosive. It was as if fate itself was forcing him to choose between the past and the future. And this is where the earthquake starts to rumble. Because when destiny places two people back in the same city, after years of distance and silence, the choices they make are no longer private. They become public. They become headlines. They become history. That evening, Rome was glowing under the golden light of the setting sun. Cafes filled the streets with chatter, tourists wandered through piazzas, and the Colosseum stood as a timeless witness to countless dramas, both ancient and modern. But in a quiet corner of the city, away from the crowds, Kenyammen was battling the biggest storm of his life. According to insiders, Ken cancelled his evening plans, shut himself away, and refused to answer calls from even his closest friends. He needed space. He needed silence. Because the question that haunted him was bigger than any script, any role, any scene he had ever played: what does Demet's presence in Rome truly mean? Some say he paced for hours in his apartment, staring at the skyline, remembering the nights they had shared in faraway places, when laughter was easy and love felt endless. Others claim he sat in total stillness, his mind replaying the last words exchanged between them, the ones that had left scars too deep to heal. Meanwhile, Demet's movements around the city were carefully tracked by paparazzi. She visited a boutique, smiled with fans, and even dined at a quiet restaurant near Piazza di Spagna. Every image published fueled more speculation. Did Ken see this? Is he going to react? Are they going to meet? The entire country seemed to be holding its breath, waiting for the inevitable. But here's the twist: Ken wasn't only thinking about Demet. He was also thinking about Sarah Bluma, the woman whose name had been linked with him in the Italian press. The timing couldn't have been worse. If he made the wrong move now, not only would he stir up ghosts of the past, but he could also ignite a firestorm in his present. The triangle was dangerous, and every step could either save his reputation or destroy it. In the middle of this chaos, Ken received a call. Not from Demet, not from Sarah, but from someone he trusted deeply, his mother. Sources say she reminded him of one simple truth. Sometimes silence is the loudest answer. But sometimes, my son, you must speak before silence destroys you. Those words shook him. Because deep down, Ken knew that silence had already caused too much damage in the past. There was a call he had never returned, a moment that had haunted him, and Demet's arrival had ripped that wound wide open again. Fans on social media didn't know these details, but they could feel something was happening. Hashtags began trending, hashtag Demet in Rome, hashtag Kenyammen decision, and even hashtag Italy shock. Every post, every comment, every speculation became part of the storm that was swallowing them both. And as the night grew darker, Ken finally realized that he couldn't escape forever. Rome wasn't big enough to hide from fate. A decision had to be made. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Tonight. Because when the past and the present collide in the city of eternal love, the choice you make doesn't just belong to you. It belongs to everyone who's watching, everyone who's waiting, and everyone who still believes in the story that once brought two hearts together. The night in Rome was heavy, as if the city itself knew that something monumental was about to unfold. Kenyammen stood by his window, staring down at the streets below, where life went on as normal, people laughing, lovers holding hands, children chasing each other in the piazzas. But for him, nothing felt normal. His heart was trapped between past and present, between silence and action, between Demet and the man he had become. Insiders reveal that Ken finally picked up his phone. His hands trembled, not because of fear, but because he knew that once he pressed that button, there would be no going back. He scrolled through his contacts, stopping at the one name he had avoided for years, Demet. That name alone carried too much weight. Memories of passion, of tears, of promises whispered in the dark. Memories of the night everything fell apart. For a long moment, he hesitated. The entire world was waiting for his reaction, but the truth was simpler, he was waiting for himself. Could he still be the man who faced love without fear? Or had the years hardened him beyond recognition? Then, with one decisive motion, Ken made his choice. But here's the shocking twist, he didn't call. Instead, he drafted a message. Short, powerful, impossible to misinterpret. It was a sentence that would make Demet stop in her tracks, a sentence that would set social media ablaze once it inevitably leaked. Insiders say the words were, "Rome is not big enough for both our silences." He hit send. And with that, the silence shattered. Across the city, Demet's phone buzzed as she sat in her hotel room. She had been looking out at the Roman skyline, perhaps wondering if destiny would give her a sign. When it came, the message that would change everything. For a moment, she froze. Her heart pounded, her breath caught, and tears welled in her eyes. Because in those few words, Ken had done what years of distance had failed to do, he had opened the door to the truth. The aftermath was immediate. Paparazzi claimed Demet left her hotel shortly after midnight, her driver rushing her through the city. Others reported that Ken was seen stepping into his car minutes later. Were they going to meet? No one knows for sure. But one thing is certain, in that single night, Rome became the stage for a love story reborn, or destroyed forever. Fans across the globe went wild. Hashtags exploded, hashtag Italy shock, hashtag Demet and Ken, hashtag Rome confession. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform burned with speculation. Some begged for reconciliation, others warned against reopening old wounds. But no one could look away. The story was too powerful, too raw, too real. And in the middle of the storm stood two people, Demet Özdemir and Kenyammen. Two hearts bound by a past they couldn't erase, facing a present they couldn't ignore. Whether this night marked the beginning of a new chapter or the final closing of their story, one thing was undeniable: their love, in all its beauty and pain, had once again captured the world. Italy watched. Turkey watched. The entire world watched. And as dawn broke over Rome, the question remained unanswered: was this the moment fate reunited them, or the moment destiny sealed their goodbye forever? Because sometimes, the biggest shocks don't happen on stage, or on screen. They happen in the silence of a message, in the shadows of a midnight drive, and in the choices that lovers make when the world isn't supposed to be watching.